Welcome back. This is Answer Me This, part of the Fatherhood in Focus podcast, and I'm Aidan, the founder of the Modern Fatherhood Club. I'm excited to have you here. I'm excited to share this week's question with you, and I hope that you join in. I hope that you take this time to reflect on your fatherhood story, and importantly, make some notes, take some action, and give your kids that little extra today, because you're clearer on your impact and your influence. This is Answer Me This. And this episode is, why am I building this? What's it costing me? Look, I've defined what is important to me, but have you? And if you have, is it guiding your every decision? Are you crystal clear on that thing that motivates you? That thing that pushes you to deliver when it matters most? More importantly, is it rooted deep down, so when you do hit the wall, you're able to bounce back, adjust, and keep going? So what is it? Can you, hand on heart, say that no matter how hard it gets or how much pressure you're under, you can still see it? And importantly, you can rely on it. As always, join the conversation, drop your comments below, and write to me at hello@themodernfatherhoodclub.com. Join the movement. Grab one of our fantastic resources, join in the conversation, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and subscribe to the podcast. This is Answer Me This, and this week we're going to be working on what's important to us as dads and how it can shape the way we show up. I believe there's a moment in every dad's life where you either drift through fatherhood or you design it. I hate to say it and I hate to see it, but life gets on top of us and stops us from seeing the beauty, the opportunity, and the little things that really matter. So are we really on top of it? Have we prepared for the seismic shift in the world all around us? Or are we clinging on, hoping we'll get through it? What our kids need are so simple. Dad on form, present, connected, and willing to dive into their world. What they get? Well, that's going to be very different at times. It's not your fault. Sometimes life just gets in the way. But when you look at that man in the mirror, do you like what you see? Is the weight of the world visible? Are the eyes tired? Is the belly not where it used to be? Are you lacking that spark, that enthusiasm for life, that want to do something, anything? Tired and fatigued? I get it. Trying to juggle your time without losing sight of who you are? Yep, I've been there too. The truth is, at times, I find myself there too. I'm not desperate to escape, but I'm desperate to take a breather. Take that moment to just think. I know at times that it's difficult to find the balance, find the space for you, for them, for your partner. I know because I've been there too. I've got that t-shirt. You feel like you're just chasing your tail, scrambling around to fit everything in. The weekends and the evenings are gone before they've even started. But that's what fatherhood is, right? Look, there's no simple fix. You need to knuckle down, and I'm afraid you've got to get on with it. But what you need to do is understand what's important and why, and then prioritise in line with that. I'm not saying that everything else has to take a back seat. What I'm saying is that the noise linked to everything else doesn't need to dim the light of those things that truly matter to you. So ask yourself this. If you had a bad day, how has it shown up at home? If you've tried your best and it's not considered good enough by your boss, how has it impacted the way that you turn up? How has it impacted the way you talk to your kids? If the little man or little lady has gone nuclear on you and all hell has broken loose, how's the rest of the day gone? How has it impacted how you show up in those interactions with them over the next few hours? Look, I'm not the perfect dad, but I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to live aligned to what's important, not just to me, but to them too. I'm trying to set an example. I fail at times, but I want you to know that I continue to work at it. What I'm saying is, you choose how you show up day in and day out. It doesn't matter what's going on outside the four walls of your home, at work, or even in your relationship. What matters most is that they feel safe, secure, loved, and understand what they mean to you. When you're clear on what motivates you and what matters most, then you can start to live in the way that they need to see. I remember holding Henry for the first time. I remember the coolness of his skin, his tiny hands. And I remember thinking, this is it. This is what life is all about. It was an insane moment and a beautiful one. I wouldn't say I was a natural at it, but you feel this sense of duty, right? It kicks in, it fuels you. You have this need to protect. At this point in the journey, it's not about provision. It's simply about protecting mum and baby. Nothing else matters. At this point, we have clarity. We have the motivation. What I failed to do was tap into it. I didn't let it shape my thinking. I didn't take a step back and prioritize the things that mattered. I needed to make space to rethink on how I would show up and who I needed to become and how I needed to dad. Paternity leave sped by. It was perfect, but then bang! You're back at work playing catch up and trying to find a way to be home in time for bedtime and bath time and time to take over from mum. When Henry was born, I worked an hour and 45 minutes away and I was in the office 5 days a week. My earliest priority was getting back up to speed and then assessing my options. Was there opportunity to earn more money? Had I peaked, reached my ceiling? Before Henry was born, I'd been unwell in the car. Too many hours driving? Perhaps. But I think it was deeper than that. For too long, I'd survived on a poor diet, a lack of exercise, poor habits, and at the weekend, probably a bit too much beer. I'd burned out. But when you're about to be a dad for the first time, you soldier on, you push on regardless of the health scare. I didn't listen to my body, my wife, or my boss. I believed I had to do more, and I needed to prove myself once again. The thing is, when you're close to burnout, your body and mind, well, they're already telling you something. In my case, I couldn't switch off. I was anxious before bed, and I'd lie awake thinking about the next day, the challenges, the opportunities, and the need to show up and outperform those around me. The truth is, I wanted to be better. I wanted to deliver for Terry and our unborn baby. I wanted to be an example for him or her to look up to. But I hadn't stopped to consider how my approach to work was showing up at home and what it was doing to me mentally and physically. So when Henry was born, I knew deep down something had to change. I needed to be closer to home. I knew I wanted to stop missing the best bits. I wanted to be more present and I wanted to breathe him in and just hold him. I wasn't prepared for the conflict, the guilt that floods you when you leave the house. That conflict, let's just say, it led me to make a series of poor choices. Arguably, I knew what was important to me at that time because it was obvious. But had I appreciated that as a dad, I needed to take a step back? No, because a knee-jerk decision wasn't the way to go. In September 2017, I thought I'd take the plunge, find something closer to home so that I could prioritise Henry and Terry and make the most of that time that we had together before she went back to work. And I jumped at it. I took a leap into a job with more money and closer to home. The problem was, it wasn't a challenge, and it wasn't the right fit. The atmosphere and culture didn't feel right. I'd hit a wall before Henry was born, and I wanted to escape the commute and the stress of the day job. I wanted to be more present at home I wanted to be the supportive husband my partner needed. But because I wasn't clear on what was important, what mattered and why, I made a decision that meant I lost sight of them, our connection, and I became a shadow of the man he and Terry needed. Your job as a new dad is simple. Be there. Be prepared. Be a steady influence. Protect them. Be present. Be informed. Be ready to solve problems. And be consistent. Those first 2 weeks, that was me. I was on it. But then when I got back to work, I wasn't prepared for this guilt, the frustration, the pull from home. Let me be clear. This wasn't Terry. This was something deep down that left me feeling empty, distracted, and needing to escape. At the time, she had her mission, and I had mine. And we were in a privileged position, paid maternity leave for an extended period and time to bond with Henry. What I wasn't prepared for was that pull from home. But worse, I wasn't prepared for the overwhelming feeling of guilt that hit me every single day. I thought being a provider at the time was enough, but I was so wrong. When I hit that wall mentally and emotionally, I needed to make a change. I had the support from work. My employer at the time was great. I think at the time I'd already shown my value and I'd contributed to the business. And at the time I think they had my back. But at the same time, I'd isolated myself and I'd started to hide the pain. And that led me to that leap. Not with faith, but with ignorance. Ignorance of the impact it would have on me and them. But that's the challenge we face. We're focused on the things that are necessary to protect. But then, when your children come along, something shifts. And it's the shift that catches us out. We're not ready for the emotional impact. We're not prepared for the guilt or the conflict that we feel. We're ready to do what it takes. But we fail to appreciate the toll it takes on us, and that failure to understand the impact it has on us, well, that damages and dulls the influence we're able to have. Your job as a new dad, or even if you're years into the role, is to take stock, reflect, celebrate, appreciate what's important to you and how it can influence the lives that you shape. Something shifted in me in 2017, but I didn't understand it. I wasn't ready for it, and I didn't adapt. I tried to carry on where I left off, but it scrambled my way of thinking. It led me to question what I'd achieved. It led me to question whether I was good enough. It stopped me thinking clearly, and it stopped me trusting my instinct, my gut. It left me restless. I knew what mattered, but I didn't know how to get there, and that's what ate away at me. That change in jobs, that just pushed me further away from where I wanted to be. And then fast forward to 2020, I was back where I started before Henry arrived. Burned out. But this time it was worse. This time I'd pushed too hard and I couldn't see clearly. I felt empty. The anger swallowed me whole, and the longer it went on, the darker the world became. That night in 2020 when I finally faced that demon, well, that was the first time in a long time that I'd slept. The nights had for a long time been interrupted by the nagging voice in my head. Every morning was the same. I'd struggle to get out of bed. My legs were heavy, and the enthusiasm for life, well, that had been left behind. You see, I couldn't see what was important because the noise inside my head had got too loud. It had overshadowed everything, and I constantly questioned whether I was good enough to lead them, to give them what they needed, and to give them what they needed. I thought for a long time I was building something, but that something wasn't connected to what I loved the most, and it was that lack of connection that was costing me. costing me time with my son, costing me the warmth and connection of my wife, costing me my self-esteem, my self-respect, confidence, and that drive you need to succeed. That night in 2020, when I finally admitted to my demons, I realised I needed to focus on what mattered. Not just what, but why. But that takes time, and it takes the confidence to take a step back and look deeper. So the question I've got for you this week: what are you building? What is it costing you now? And what will it cost you in the future? There's this stat. It frightens the life out of me. By the time your child turns 18, you've already spent about 95% of the total time you'll ever spend with them in your lifetime. We take all this time to establish ourselves, create a future that can see them through, but we lose sight of the magical years and the intense daily moments of connection we both need. What matters most isn't what you're building, but the why behind it. But the why has got to steer your decision making. It must focus your attention on the things that truly matter. Presence, laughter, joy, connection, stories at bedtime, love, chaos, noise, just time together. Because when it's gone, it's gone. And let's face it, this is 2025 and our kids' attention is already under pressure. They're likely to spend even less time with you as they get older. So treasure this time, but do so with clarity and conviction. Conviction in your plan and clarity in your next step and how it impacts today, tomorrow, and the world that you're crafting. That day in 2020, it shifted my whole perspective. I knew I needed to be a better man. I think I was doing okay as a dad, but ask Terry, she might give you some good feedback. But I think I was best at masking it. What I needed to know and what you need to be clear on isn't just what's important, but what about that thing or things is important and why they're important to you. Once I started to get back on track and really focus on what mattered, I was clear on one thing: that they should never feel the way that I did in that moment. They should never feel hopeless, lost, frustrated. That they should never feel like there's nothing left for them. Why? Because no child should ever have their life limited by the decisions or indecisions of their dad, and they should never have to fight on alone, shape a future without someone in their corner. That's someone who's prepared for the challenge, prepared to offer the support, love and guidance that they need. That's our role. It's to lead with confidence, passion, perseverance, strength and purpose. Our purpose, our compass. That's what opens up their world. The fact that you can take a step back, recognize when and where you need to act, well, that gives them something to follow. But it also shapes the world they grow up in. And then one day, they're going to look back at you, their relationship with you, and realize that no matter what, your action didn't cost you your connection with them. So let me ask you, what is important to you? And I bet you can write that down. I bet that surface level answer is on the very tip of your tongue. But what I want is that shift, that why behind every step you take. What is it? What is driving you forward? What is helping you zero in on the decisions that matter? But I also want you to think about what your decision making might have cost you, because time is slipping away. Your moment with them is short. That time where you're the center of their universe is slipping through your fingers. So if your judgment is clouded, take that step back. Think back to a decision you made and how it impacted how you showed up and how it has influenced how you are around them. Yes, It might in the long term have a positive impact on their future. But if it's distracted you when they need you most, when they need dad to listen, to play or to have fun, then maybe, just maybe, it's time to prioritise differently. All I want to do is be clear on what matters. I've seen others lose sight of what's important. This work I do has led me to meet some incredible people with incredible stories. But I've also seen how it plays out. Lost opportunities, broken relationships, distracted egos, poor choices, mental fatigue and buried shame. What I want to help you do is make a conscious choice. Let your why drive that next decision. Let it help you weigh up the cost and the benefit. Understand what you win, what they win, and what you could both lose. I believe that this approach can have a dramatic effect on the way that they see you. But more importantly, I believe that it can give you the confidence to make the right step at the right time. Create the boundaries that are necessary to lead as a parent and prioritise what's truly going to make the difference. For me, that's laughter, the cuddles, the confidence in their eyes when they know I'm in their corner. The moment before bed where they share their hopes, their fears, when they're honest with you and themselves because they know dad's got their back. By creating a link to what's important and understanding the why behind it, you can finally feel free. Finally choose to prioritise what's important without feeling conflicted. Focus on the little things without feeling the pull of work or that next email. Our objective is to show our children how to live, not survive, not to limp home exhausted. Our objective is to help them realise what's important and what makes them happy and how to align themselves to that happiness. Happiness shouldn't be the last thing on our list of priorities. It should be first and centre. Our mission as parents is to help them dream big. It's to help them understand what they're capable of. It's to help them find what inspires them to live. I've got this dream right now. It's to help you and others like you and I. It's to create opportunities for dads to have the impact that they want to have on their families' lives and the impact that their kids need them to have. For me though, the mission's so much deeper. It's about showing my boys what it means to be a man. A man who's clear-headed, focused, understands what it is that he wants and understands why that thing is important. It's not about being perfect. Hell, I make mistakes every single day. This is about presence, clarity and leadership. So whatever it is you're focused on right now, remember it's not what you're building, it's about understanding the cost. Does the cost outweigh the benefit? If it does, then is the decision or action the right one? Because when you understand the impact you're having, you can choose joy, choose to love freely, and teach them that happiness isn't a reward, but a practice that you can stay true to. I know the cost of missing moments. I know how fast it goes. I know what I lost. And I know what I need to do every single day so as not to lose anything else. Fatherhood is designed to put you to the test. It's designed to make you think about your future, their future, and the world in which they're growing up in. It's about leadership, impact, and connection. It's about love, warmth, affection, strength, openness, wonder, joy, and understanding. Without clarity, I was lost. I made the right decisions, but for all the wrong reasons. I failed to trust my instinct when it mattered most, and I wasn't clear on how I showed up in their world. For a long time, I failed. I was overwhelmed and unable to give them what they needed. The world we're shaping is going to either empower or imprison them. teaching them to zero in on what makes them tick and why, well, that's going to help them make the decisions that truly matter. It can help them set boundaries, but I think it can also shape how they interact with the outside world, its influences, and how those influences show up in their everyday lives. Our role is to be there when it matters and to teach them that the person in it with you is the most important person, because that's the person who you've chosen, who you respect, and who will respect your decision making because they see how you move, what you prioritize, and why you act in a particular way. Because in the end, it's not the big stuff that matters. It's not the car, it's not the house, it's not the swimming pool or the holidays or that picture perfect life. It's having the ability to decide with clarity. It's about seeing how your decision making can create something unique and inspiring for those that you love. It's the little things. It's the memories. It's the bedtime chats, the laughter, the way you look at them and the way that they look at you. It's about filling your cup and filling theirs too. Not with things, but with life, love, joy, and simplicity. The world is noisy, unforgiving. But when you become a dad, that noise has got to disappear. It's not about isolation. It's about clarity. It's about reflecting on your journey, understanding your mistakes, learning from them, and using them as a fuel to connect better with your children and your partner. You cannot prioritize or create boundaries without first understanding what makes a difference to you and them. In the New Dad Recharge and Fatherhood Unleashed, we dive deeper into this subject. We uncover the motivation behind every decision you make as a dad, and we leave you with the clarity to lead with confidence. It's available now at themodernfatherhoodclub.com, and the link is in the description. I'm here because I lost sight of what was important. That almost cost me everything. But it taught me about duty. It taught me to live aligned to the things that matter. Above all else, it taught me not to forget the small stuff. That's what I fight for every single day. I want to be the dad who's present, not stuck at the desk, not glued to his phone, but connected, laughing, teaching, guiding. And I know the price of not doing it. I've lived it. I've made mistakes. I've missed moments. But I'm not letting that define me. I'm fighting for a future that serves them, not just one that looks good on paper. Remember, your standard sets the tone. It creates a vision for their future, one that only you and your partner can nurture over time. You see, this isn't about making sweeping changes. This is about taking a step forward today, another tomorrow, and doing it every single day. If you start now, where will you be in the future? Where will they be? What path will they follow? And how much will you and they grow? More importantly, what's your bond going to be like? As always, write it down. Dive into the detail. Create something so powerful and unique that you cannot wake up and not move toward it. Your change, and any change, has got to be necessary and it's got to leave a mark. They're going to follow in your footsteps. They're going to learn your behaviours, adopt your values, and treat people exactly how you treat them. Your role is simple. Give it everything you have and give them exactly what they need. As always, thank you so much for listening. This has been Answer Me This, part of the Fatherhood in Focus podcast. I'm your host, Aidan. Thank you so much for staying till the end. If you've liked what you've heard, please subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel, join the Modern Fatherhood Club community, grab some of our free resources, and please share any challenges that you're facing so that we can adapt, we can learn more about you and others, so that we can shape future content, so that we have the impact that you need us to have. As always, thank you so much for listening. This has been Aidan, and I'll see you soon.